Worthy virtual audience, a nation in debt is a nation enslaved is the topic for today, and I 100% agree with the notion. To elaborate, nation, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is generally a country, especially when thought of a large group of people sharing similar political background. Investopedia says debt is an amount of money borrowed by one party from another. Enslave means loss of freedom, hence slavery. So as a whole, the topic says that a nation which is in state of debt or is financially dependent upon some other country is not free, it is bound, it is enslaved. LDCs, least developed countries, the new replacement for the phrase or the term third world countries. But why are they called so? I'll tell you. First, because they are developing. Second, interlinked to the first one, that they owe external debt to the developing countries and developed countries and multilateral lending bodies. Taking a debt is not new in today's world because factually the most indebted country is the United States itself. It owes a gross debt of approximately $21.5 trillion according to IMF as of 2018. But it might become a potential problem for the borrowing countries when they are unable to generate sufficient funds to make the repayment. Such countries are referred to as enslaved in the topic because these poor countries have to make sacrifices in the key areas of their public spending to service their debt. I'm not an economist, but here I'm going to quote a view about IMF, International Monetary Fund. It is that the debtor countries to the IMF are often faced to having to put their economic concerns ahead of their social ones. Thus, by being required to open up their economies for foreign investment, privatizing their public enterprises and cutting down the government spendings, these nations suffer the inability to fund their social and health and education programs well. According to a study of World Bank in 2010, the total stock of external debt for all the developing countries stood at approximately $4 trillion. $4 trillion. Insane, especially when the nations are already facing internal crisis and have nothing to repay. At this very moment, my friends, at this very moment, the nations have to bend their necks down in front of the developed countries and sign agreements of indirect slavery. Thomas Jefferson says, and I quote, "And to preserve our independence, we must not let our leaders load us with perpetual debt." Unquote. Preserve our independence is the term used by him. Isn't this fully in accordance with our topic today? But on the other hand, we see that these nations cannot take a single step forward without taking external debts. But while taking the debts, while signing the agreements, certain things must be kept in mind. Is this debt going to be a long-term benefit for us? Can we repay it? Is it going to restore our national pride, or is it going to limit our freedom and liberty? At the end, my friends, I would like to suggest the developing countries, like our own Pakistan, to limit your spendings rather than grabbing all the possible funds and loans around. You are a nation. Remember that. You are a nation. You are not a fundraiser or a charity collecting body. You are not slaves. Wake your nationhood up, or it's too late to walk around the global economics with complete freedom. Because Milton Friedman says, and I quote, "Economic freedom is one of the indispensable means towards achieving political freedom." Unquote. Thank you so much.